All right, get ready for some incredible stories, because we're diving into Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's really a bridge between East and West, you know?
For sure. Bringing those ancient teachings of yoga and spirituality to the West. Plus, we're going straight to the source, working with excerpts from the autobiography itself.
Can't beat that.
And let me tell you, this guy, Yogananda, he's got some wild stories. I mean, we're talking levitating saints, people living without food, past lives, the whole mystical shebang.
It's easy to get lost in the fantastical stuff, but there's real depth there, too. These stories are like interwoven with teachings about, you know, the nature of reality, the power of the mind, that kind of thing.
Totally. It's what makes it more than just a memoir. It's like a guidebook for anyone wanting to explore their spiritual side. So should we lay out what we're hoping to do with this deep dive?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so our mission, should you choose to accept it, is to unpack Yogananda's journey, meet the amazing people he met, and really get a grasp on those core principles of yoga he talks about.
And get ready for some serious aha moments, because even if you wouldn't call yourself a spiritual person, Yogananda has this way of explaining things that just clicks, you know?
Oh, absolutely. All right, so the book kicks off with Yogananda's childhood in India. Right away, you realize this is not your average kid.
Yeah, like right off the bat, there's this deep yearning in him, this pull towards something bigger. He even talks about remembering a past life as a Himalayan yogi, and not just vague memories, like super vivid, real feeling memories.
And you can't forget his mother. Talk about influential. She was deeply spiritual herself. And get this, she had a premonition about her own death.
Wow.
Yeah, and that obviously had a huge impact on young Yogananda.
Makes you think, you know, how those early experiences, especially losing his mom, how that might have shaped his whole search for something more. A search that ultimately led him to yoga.
And what a journey it was. It's like he's on this pilgrimage, meeting these incredible saints and yogis, each one more unbelievable than the last.
Oh yeah, this is key in Eastern traditions. The guru-disciple thing, this passing down of wisdom from master to student.
It's a classic for a reason, right?
Totally.
And some of these gurus were something else. Like, there's this one, the Tiger Swami.
Yeah.
This dude went from wrestling tigers, like actual tigers, to becoming this spiritual teacher.
That's wild.
Right. You can't make this stuff up.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? Like, taming the external tiger and then using that to, you know, help others tame the tigers in their own minds, the anxieties and all that.
Okay, now that is an aha moment right there.
It makes you think, if he could handle those tigers, maybe we can learn to manage our own inner chaos a bit better.
Right. And it wasn't just him. There was Rangopal, the sleepless saint. Yogananda meets him, and the guy's literally glowing.
It's like, are these stories meant literally, or are they pointing to something we don't quite grasp yet? It's like he's saying, hey, what if reality is bigger than you think?
It's like those moments where you experience something you just can't explain. Makes you question everything. But even if glowing saints aren't your thing, the message is universal. Find your guides.
100%.
Whether it's a spiritual teacher, a mentor, whoever, we all need those guiding lights.
Absolutely. We need those figures who help us unlock our potential. And for Yogananda, that was Sri Yukteswar. That's where things get really interesting. Sri Yukteswar, he wasn't just some mystical guru figure. He was like this amazing mix of wisdom, humor, you know, and a deep, deep understanding of spirituality.
It's true. It's like if your favorite teacher was also a stand-up comedian and a mystic all at once.
Right. Reading about him is so refreshing.
Totally. And with him, we're not just talking abstract ideas. We get stories. Like, remember how to outwit a mosquito.
Oh yeah, classic. On the surface, it's this funny little anecdote.
But underneath.
Profound lesson about resilience, perspective, the whole deal. It's like he's saying, life's gonna throw you curveballs, but with the right attitude, you can handle anything.
Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
Exactly.
And then there's the story of Afzal Khan, this fakir who could materialize stuff out of thin air. That one still throws me for a loop.
It's definitely up there in the wait what category.
For sure.
But Sri Yukteswar uses it to make a point. Spiritual power isn't about showing off. It's not about personal gain.
It's about
aligning with something bigger. Using whatever gifts you have to serve others, you know?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There you go.
It's a theme that pops up everywhere, but it feels different with Yogananda. And what's really cool is he doesn't just stick to ancient wisdom, he's into science too.
Totally. He was ahead of his time in that way. He didn't just accept things on faith. He wanted to understand how it all connected, the seen and the unseen, the science and the spiritual.
It's like with Jagadesh Chandra Bose, that botanist who was showing how sensitive plants are.
Bose's work was groundbreaking, and you can feel Yogananda's excitement. Like, see? Science is proving what the mystics have known all along.
It's all connected.
Right.
He makes you want to approach life with this sense of wonder, like, what else is out there?
Yeah.
What else haven't we discovered yet?
Totally.
And that brings us to, I think, one of the biggest things in the book, Kriya Yoga.
Definitely a central theme.
So what's the deal with Kriya Yoga? What's got him so fascinated?
Well, he presents it as this technique, a scientific technique, really, for achieving self-realization.
Okay, so not just sitting around chanting.
There's more to it than that. It's about consciously directing your energy, going inward to experience who you truly are, beyond the physical body, beyond the ego.
So there's this whole inner universe we can explore.
That's the idea. And what I appreciate is he doesn't shy away from the big questions. He talks about the self, reincarnation, connecting with the divine, all of it.
He goes there.
He does, and he makes it understandable. But here's the thing. He didn't want to keep these teachings secret. He felt this call to share Kriya Yoga, to bring it to the West.
Which is what leads him to America. It's a big leap, right? Leaving everything behind, going to a whole new continent, just to share these teachings.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder if he ever had second thoughts.
Oh, I'm sure he had his doubts. It wasn't all smooth sailing. In fact, he tells this funny story about his first lecture in America. He was so nervous, speaking in English and all.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, he almost choked. But then he had this feeling, like this wave of calmness washing over him. He realized it was his guru, Sri Yukteswar, supporting him from afar.
Wow, talk about long-distance connection. That's pretty amazing. But even with that support, it couldn't have been easy to connect with a Western audience. I mean, these ideas were so new back then.
It's true, but Yogananda had this knack for meeting people where they were at. He could explain these deep spiritual concepts in a way that just resonated, you know? He wasn't afraid to answer tough questions, to acknowledge people's doubts, and I think that's what made him so effective.
He was authentic.
Exactly. And ultimately, his teachings really touched something deep within people. He found a real hunger for this kind of wisdom, a longing for something more than the material world.
It's like deep down, we're all searching for that connection, that sense of belonging.
Absolutely. And Yogananda, he showed people a path to that connection, not by escaping the world, but by bringing that spiritual awareness into everyday life.
Which, let's be honest, is not always easy.
Definitely not, especially in this day and age, right? With all the distractions and everything.
It's like, who has time for deep meditation when you've got a million things on your to-do list?
Right. But that's what's so great about Yogananda's message. He always emphasized that even small steps, done consistently, can make a big difference. It's not about becoming some kind of monk in a cave. It's about incorporating these practices into your daily life, bit by bit.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into Autobiography of a Yogi, I gotta say, it feels like we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, for sure.
There's so much more we could unpack.
There's enough material for like 10 more deep dives.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, we didn't even get to his encounters with people like Gandhi or Tagore the poet.
Or that crazy story about Luther Burbank, this plant guy who thought he could speed up evolution. Yogananda's life intersected with so many fascinating people.
It makes you realize there's so much possibility out there. So as we're wrapping up here, I think it's important to bring it back to the listener. Why does any of this matter? Why should we care about the life of some yogi who lived decades ago?
That's the key question, and I think the answer is this. Yogananda's story is timeless. He wasn't just writing about his own life. He was offering a roadmap for self-discovery, a path to realizing our own potential. And that path, it's open to anyone who's willing to take the journey.
He challenged us to look inward, to connect with something bigger than ourselves, and to bring that awareness into the world. That's a powerful message, no matter who you are or where you come from. Well said. So to our listeners, as you go about your day, I want you to consider this. What if there's more to life than meets the eye? What if, beneath the surface of your everyday experience, there's a deeper reality waiting to be discovered? And what if, through self-exploration and dedicated practice, you could awaken to that reality and experience the truth of who you really are? It's a question worth pondering.
It is.
And on that note, we'll leave you to do just that. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Autobiography of a Yogi. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for tuning in to the audio podcast. You're here with my friend Jordan, and I'm Ashley. We hope today's episode brought some light to your day. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. Share it with a friend and keep spreading the good vibes. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep shining.